Good evening or good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking to you as the Plenipotentiary Judge and Chief Federal Postal Court Judge. First of all, I'm going to educate you on what the word private, I'm going to educate you on what the actual meaning of the word public is. At the moment, as the world's politicians and COVID-19 and all of these things are running all across the media, the general public, albeit the people of the world, do not understand what the word public means. And I'm going to educate you. So please listen very carefully and share this video, this presentation, to as many people as you can. I'm hoping that it'll be an eye-opener for the people of the world. The word public, ladies and gentlemen, quite literally refers to anything that is of a acting stage performance. That means the people that are termed as public officers, public parties, or any public servants are all termed identical to a theoretical show. Theoretical, okay? Theory, because they are all actors. What does that mean? That means that your parliamentarians, your senators, your governments, in fact, anybody termed as the public or even public banking or public bankers, reporters, solicitors, journalists, correspondents, newspapers, publications, cartoon, magazines, and etc., including your presidents and prime ministers, are all actors. The word public quite literally means that it is a massive stage performance. This is something that is absolutely crucial for everybody on this planet, this earth, this world, to understand what the word public is. So I will try to give you some more explanations. When you see a judge, when you go into a court, and because they're no longer in the well of the court, they're called spectators. And because of this, they're essentially a non-player, just like your politicians, just like your lawyers, are all on a different level to what you are. That is the people of the world. Anybody that is not on your geometric level playing field is off the plane. And any newspaper reports that you see, or the 101 television broadcast, the newspapers, as I said, the politicians as well, that make so much, shall we say, noise, including the journalist, and all publications that are not on your field and that are within the term public, literally means that it is theatrics. It is theatrics. You are witnessing a stage performance. When Shakespeare tells you that the world is a stage, that's exactly what he's broadcasting, that your politicians, your judges, all of your departments, all of your newspaper reporters, and as I said for a third time, I'm saying it, your judges, lawyers, as well as businessmen and women that are not businessmen and women, I'm talking about men and women, are all practicing commas, albeit theoretics, theatre shows, and operating in business. In other words, their business is theatrics. 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 If I'm not pronouncing it correct, I'm referring to a theatre show. On my last presentation, which you saw, about such characters as Nelson Mandela and Gandhi, as well as the Kennedy family, are just one or two people that I have mentioned that are part of a grand scale theatre production. And these theatre productions, ladies and gentlemen, are perpetrating into the minds of human beings on this planet, the people of this planet, as being actual facts and not as anything but a theatre. This has confused the general public to the extent that they think that when they are watching television programs like BBC Question Time in this country, or the various other debates that you have across the world, they believe these are actual men and women coming together to debate or be questioned about the current affairs or historical or even futuristic things that are taking place, that are going to take place, what they call planning. And because of this, the general public have been disabled. They have been willfully disabled to the point where they are unable to distinguish what is a theatre show, a theatre production, as to opposed to men and women that are telling the truth, the whole truth, on a geometric level playing field. Anybody or anything that is not on your plane with language as well as on geometry are actually somewhere else in a different dimension, as it were. And that is what a simple thing like a vector is. That's a different dimension to this. Yes, the word carries a lot of connotation, and I am doing my best to educate you and move you away on thinking that people in the public are not actors. This is why, as David Wayne Miller has pointed out so many times, judges are actors, politicians are actors. And what do these people do? They pass acts, while legislation is done by somebody else. I think I have covered the subject of what that really is. So whenever you hear like a public police officer or a public law enforcement officer or a government department or a solicitor being in the public are just actors. That is the distinction, as clear a distinction as that of plant life to animal life. These things you have not been taught at school, because if you knew this, you'll be able to drag your politician back onto the level playing field where they are under the penalty of perjury. My question for myself at this moment is that have I explained myself well enough for you to share this video with as many people as you can in the dangers of thinking that public officers are actual real men and women going about lawful duties. They are not. They are correction officers for a theatrical show, a theatre show. I'm not able to pronounce the word properly, so let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is it. Theatrics. However I wish to pronounce it. The word doesn't come that easy to me because I'm not a performer. It's not part of my vocabulary to be in theatrics. And I will do my best as I go along to pronounce the word, but this is what I'm speaking about. There are so many words, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come natural to us, including me, because that is not what we are. When we go out in the public, we do our best to be who we are and what we are, and to be under the penalty of perjury and cause no harm as we walk about from one point to another. These politicians, these judges, these government departments, these public newspapers, these publications, however, are causing so much harm to humanity, the people of the earth. I have to make it clear. And I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave these comments on my YouTube channel to help the people listening to me, that they come to understand that your politicians are passing acts because they are actors. I will address this again until I feel that I have communicated my message to you. And if I have not clearly explained it, I would like to extend my friendship, and I would like to extend this to my students to explain it in the text messages on the comments section, if I have not found the words to express myself correctly. Thank you. Next subject. The claim of the geometric level field and what it means. In law, in life, anything that does not walk and talk on a geometric level playing field is actually a theatre show. So, for example, if the Creator is not walking and talking in the Garden of Eden with you, then it's a theatrical show. It's a theatre performance. This is why in the Old Testament, and I make references to these things, not the entirety of it, because there is just as much toxicity in these things as there are truths, as it were. This is why in the Garden of Eden, the Creator speaks and talks on a level playing field, hand in hand with its creation. Anything less, anything more, is off the geometric level playing field, and hence it's a theatre show. Whether you're looking down at the theatre or whether you're looking up at the theatre, like an auditorium, like in the old auditoriums. That is what it means in this period in our lives to have a geometric level playing field on a linguistic basis, on a playing field as well, including in law, including a voice, is that your claim, our claim, is that it's a geometric level playing field. Anything less is a act. Everything else is a Shakespearean stage performance, a opera house performance, say for example from the Chinese opera house. And each one of these countries have their own types of opera houses. And they are there confusing the people of the planet, this earth, this world, into thinking that the politicians are not actors on stage. The rule of congruence, ladies and gentlemen, the rule of congruence. Every animal on this planet that we know of, not through the wildlife programs, but what we witness on a geometric level playing field, what that does is it does it best. It does its best to be congruent. Congruent simply means those things that I wish to convey are conveyed as accurately as possible without any deliberate misunderstandings or misinformation, and that you, the recipient, receives it that way. And of course, vice versa. That which is good for you is good for me. This is what the rule of congruence is, whether that is through written words or the spoken word or anything else. We are always trying our best to communicate with each other to avoid conflicts. When theatre shows, which are also another word for politicians, perform these roles and not tell the people of the world, that this is a theatre show, and the wars that are started on the back of that are crimes against mankind, crimes against man, the species. This is the violations, this is the consequences of what breaking the rules of congruence is. So this cannot be played. David Wayne Miller created the quantum grammar, a language that is mathematically qualified, that can be written backwards, frontwards, that has the ability to organize itself according to the claims, according to the authorizations, as well as anything else that you wish to convey, a system of correct sentence structure, parse, syntax, grammar. That is what is already in existence, just as Linux software runs 99.9% of all computers on this planet. Only less than 1% is actually Windows. The general public is not aware of these things, just as the general public are not aware of the power of congruence, or claim of the geometric level playing field, or the existence of a language system so perfect that it's mathematically perfect. If kept unchecked, what I have come to understand as the people of the lie, these are people that would try to perpetrate a theatre show as being an actual event. In this country we have the BBC, as well as a lot of other broadcasters that play these very dangerous performances to incite violence, hatred, bitterness, and of course, hate preaching. They use the medium of the BBC, the transmission, to incite violence. You saw these things with Iraq. You saw these things as in the war of terrorism. You have seen these things so many times. If I was to list it, I'll be sitting here for probably about another 30 hours just on that list. Perhaps even just on the last decade. People lie, ladies and gentlemen, because they know the truth, albeit the facts. And paraphrasing it, that is why they lie, is because they know the facts and they know the truth. The question for me, and perhaps for my audience and for my students, is what lengths would these people go to keep up their lies, to prop up their lies? The answer is, a lie begets another lie, and then they use another lie to cover up that previous lie. And if it takes 1,000,001 lies to cover up one lie, that is what they do. And then, of course, they say, well, it's only a show. It was only a show. When a theatrical show collides with the people and it damages the people, there are consequences. So as the British monarchy, albeit any monarchy, like to say, keep up appearances. That is to say, to keep up and prop up the lies. The world of principalities is being eaten away as we speak by such things as cryptocurrency, albeit Bitcoin, and the near perfect tool of blockchain. And then, of course, we have the NFTs coming along. Please listen to the following carefully. This information is for all judges, politicians, lawyers, bankers, businessmen, people of faith, or even people of religion. If politicians, judges, lawyers, bankers, reverends, people of religion clearly say and state, both in writing and in speech, congruence is the rule, that they are in the business of theatre, in the business of theatrics, and are acting and are actors on stage performing. If they don't say this at the beginning of every transmission, if they say this, then immunity can be given. That is, we have clearly been given notice, as it were, that the BBC, the newspapers in every single country in the world, I'm just using BBC as an example, if they clearly say it, this is a theatre show, then we can extend them actors' immunity. If they fail to say this, whether that's a reporter or a journalist or a politician, whether that's a journalist or a politician interviewing a politician or a judge, if they do not say this, they immediately fall under the penalty of perjury. By saying that this is a show, and only a show for entertainment purposes only, if they do not say this, that this is a show for entertainment purposes only, then they are causing harm. And if they say it, then people become witness that this is just a theatre show. If they do not say it, then of course no such immunity can be given, and therefore they are under the penalty of perjury. Remember what I have said, even with some of my mishaps with the sentences, and even with some of my mispronunciation of words, we are all on a geometric level playing field, a geometric level field, whether that will be a game, whether that will be anything else. If they do not say it, that means immunity cannot be given. This, ladies and gentlemen, transmission is on a geometric level playing field, and it is not a theatre show. Clearly stating such things will enable the people of this world to move forward and not be haunted or thwarted or distracted by stage performances pretending to be real life events. This is the best way, one of the best ways, rephrasing myself, that we as people can move forward. Failure failure, ladies and gentlemen, for politicians, judges, lawyers, reporters, journalists, not to be on a geometric level playing field when they are not stage performing will carry a 20 million US dollar or euro dollar or UK pounds in whichever country's jurisdiction or currency jurisdiction it is in, plus serve a minimum of 7 years prison sentence as penance for violating that which is a geometric level field has to oppose to a theatre production. Theatrics. I still can't pronounce it properly. The penalty of perjury, ladies and gentlemen, is to tell lies on a level field. More so under the penalty of perjury, under oath. When a stage show collides with the people, that is the audience, prison sentences have to be handed out and served, as well as financial compensation awarded to the people that have been lied to, the people that have, wanting for a better word, suffered damage. And I'm not using suffer in any biblical sense. If people in their public offices, positions, fail to answer questions directly in the most congruent manner they can, in good faith, they too go under penalties and imprisonment. The penalties would be financial. The imprisonment will be the actual man, the actual woman, to serve 7 years. The same, ladies and gentlemen, applies to the people in the private. When the people in the private lie, steal, use all manner of false language, misleading sentences in order to contract with the unwary public who do not know that they are actors, they have violated the rules of contract, and they too, ladies and gentlemen, will have to serve that 7-year prison sentence and the 20 million US dollars, Great British pounds, or euros in whichever jurisdiction that is in. I want to make it very clear. The rules of the level field applies to the people in the private as well. And those letters that go out from private people into the letter boxes addressed to a public name, albeit an acting name, and trying to get that man or a woman to attach themselves to that acting name is a false contract and carries 20 million US dollars, euros, Great British pounds, penalties of fines and fines. Paid, of course, to the man and woman that is damaged. The 7-year prison sentence will also apply to the people in the private. The golden rule, ladies and gentlemen, to be in the private is to cause no harm. In fact, it is considered to be a position where you give aid and help and sustenance and knowledge to people. I have done this so people cannot hide under diplomatic immunity, so they cannot hide under political immunity, judicial immunity, qualified immunity, which is an oxymoron, by the way, parliamentary discretion in this country. When the morality of these people fail, who's keeping them in check? Because I could find nobody, I stepped into the role of keeping them in check. If I have not made it clear, all politicians, judges, banks, bankers, people of religion, reverence, must clearly state, whether they're on TV, newspaper, or in publication, that this is nothing more than a stage performance, a theatrics. And let us remind ourselves what that word actually means. Excessively emotional and dramatic behavior, a theatre show. I'm now going to go on to some of the deceptions that go on, and I will do my best to bridge it on this presentation. This is an example, ladies and gentlemen, of a theatre show. It's called the BBC Question Time, a very popular television show in Great Britain, United Kingdom, England. Since this transmission goes to all three jurisdictions, they too are under the penalty of perjury. To make it very clear, you can see that is a stage, and the stage behind is another stage. And they got the people believing that they are questioning the actual men and women in question time that are usually politicians or people in the public, either as educators or holding public offices. For example, this particular one called Diane Abbott, I believe she calls herself. She performs highly emotional words, emotive words, and very expressive. But that's what she's doing. She's giving you a actor's performance on a theatre. To bridge this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm also going to be teaching you later on. She also sometimes accompanies characters like Julian Assange, who is an acting name, there to mislead purposely and willfully, to disable the people by using false and misleading sentences. And this is her page. If you want to put her on any sort of geometric level playing field, you might think about the Right Honourable, but certainly the birth name will be very different. You understand this, that when she's walking in the streets protesting Julian Assange being in prison, who doesn't exist because that is not his birth name, that is not the man, that is the actor, the pen name, the stage name, the signature name, the handle as in CB, and the variety of pseudonyms that one can think of. That's all it is, a stage performance, pretending that great harm will come to people that will be whistleblowers or even educators. Ladies and gentlemen, I will teach you some mechanisms here. The mechanisms of bureaucracy. This is the Speaker of the House of Commons in the United Kingdom jurisdiction, what is known as the House of Commons. Okay? The House of Commons is this character here, but this is a pseudonym. You see that title? That's a pseudonym. That is a rank aboard a ship called British. You can see when the parliamentarians that are all on stage, parliament means talking, they will quite often say, Mr. Speaker, I have started, Mr. Speaker, so I will finish. When they say Mr. Speaker, they are speaking to him informally. Just like me, it's just like me saying, how are you, John? And I say things that got nothing to do with anything. John is not even his real name. It could be Jonathan. When they are saying Mr. Speaker, they are not addressing him formally for a formal occasions. You know, informal means like an informal occasion is a non-formal occasion. Formal means that it's official, that it has some weight, that there is due process, there is a bureaucracy taking place. When it's informal, it means it's just casual wear. So the parliamentarians are speaking to him in a casual fashion, as if it was a tea party, and then being broadcasted to the general public. Now that general public is termed as the people. And they say we're doing it to the general public, not telling you what the public means. They are essentially lying to the people, saying to you that this is a formal meeting under parliamentarian rules and it's parliamentarian procedure, and they destroy it by using a stylized name called Mr. Speaker. In their world, ladies and gentlemen, is formal name, is formal address, is the Right Honourable. So if they do not say the Right Honourable, whoever his name is, Lindsay Hoy in this case, they are not talking to the Speaker. They're calling him by an informal name, like, hey you. Period. These sort of deceptions, ladies and gentlemen, these sort of shows that have been so convincing to the general public, the general people, the people of the world that cannot distinguish between that which is public and that which is private and that which is the people. On the back of these ignorances, such misinformation is given, and people's ability to be able to perform, not as a theatre show, but that which is right and honourable, to take place. Well, on the back of the things that I have said, I have removed all of these things. This is the Speaker in the US. Look again, read carefully. I will enlarge the screen for you. And this information is for the US people as well. I have more students in the US than any other country in the world. Nancy Polensky. Her style. When they address her in the style of Madam Speaker, they are saying, hey you lady, sexy lady, lady in the pink. Pink means referee. That's all they're saying. They're being informal. It says so right here. But when you or anybody else say the Honourable and then mention her name, then she is and will be under the penalty of perjury, under oath. Learn these systems. What does a stylization mean? What is a style? Well, if I'm wearing Gucci, ladies and gentlemen, Gucci being a fashion designer, just in case my students don't know. If I'm wearing Gucci, Gucci cannot speak to a man or a woman or the creator or make a prayer or a wish. But the man that's wearing the Gucci can. The Gucci is just the dress, the attire, as it were. You know that. Gucci can neither go to heaven nor hell. You know that, because it's just a style. So you Americans out there, start putting these people under the penalty of perjury on the back of the information that I've given you. Do it in your hundreds of thousands, in your millions. You need to. Remember what I've said. Learn to use it. Lovely looking lady. She is the leader of the House of Lords in England. Learn how to speak to them. I've leveled the playing field for you. I've leveled the geometric field for you. And I've told you what is the informal and what is the formal. Use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Archbishop of Canterbury. Purple, which means it's sovereign. Look, ladies and gentlemen. Watch. Let's see if we can break this code together. He's the Archbishop, as I've said, of Canterbury, part of the Lord spiritual and temporal. This is the spiritual. Justin Welby. The style, ladies and gentlemen, the style, as in Gucci style, is the most reverent. The Right Honourable. That's the style, like Reverend, shall we say, Martin Luther King. That's his style, like in Gucci style. And Right Honourable, that's a style. What is he doing, having a style? I cannot speak to a style. Otherwise, His Grace. So, Justin Welby, Archbishop of Canterbury, Anglican Church, is extending, offering His grace. And since it's in there, showing it me, and he is offering grace, I accept your grace. I accept your grace, Justin Welby, and I extend you my grace. And if you need help from me, ask me. I'll write to you, offering my help in bringing the people of this world on a geometric field under the rules of congruence until the world is ready for quantum grammar. Remember, you are offering your grace. I am accepting your grace. And I am extending my grace and any services I can be to the people. My feelings, ladies and gentlemen, is that have I done a good enough job as a plenipotentiary judge who's an educator to explain to you the tragedy of being what is the public as to opposed to people, and that the public quite literally means they are all actors running around. And I have explained to you the best as I can under the rules of congruence that the penalty of perjury, of taking oaths, of clearly stating to the people that they are actors and that the transmissions in the newspapers are a theatrical show. If they do not, they are under the penalty of perjury. And this also applies to everybody, every man and woman that is in the private. Thank you very much for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could continue with this because there's a lot of information that I need to give to you American folks out there about California. But I've run out of time. But you do need to know that California, and I'll do a bigger presentation on that when I get a chance. California is going back to the origins of where it came from. Previously, and I'm not saying it's going back to Mexico, previously it was part of the Mexican Empire, just after the post office started up, as it were, in 18-something, mid-18th century. This is why California is emptying. So I'm letting you know, be prepared. These are unknown times. The lease on California has run out, and it'll be going back to the people that originally had it. Do some research, and if you feel that research that you have done will be of benefit to me and the Federal Postal Court, judges, as well as the system, give it to us, send it to us, but not as just links, but in a coherent, in a concise fashion. So just don't send it to us link after link saying we found this, we found that. Present it as if you are a serious man and a woman presenting something that might be of value to the Federal Postal Court and its judges. Thank you very much for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.